Hey everyone, this is going to probably be a little weird for most people who know me to hear all this because I don't normally talk much, something I'm actually trying to change, but decided to start making videos like this, just writing and talking about stuff that's on my mind, just to get better at verbalizing my thoughts and get my thoughts out there. So hopefully the audio on this is better. I'm having issues with wind buffeting on my helmet, making really bad background noise on the video. I raised up my windscreen. Hopefully that helped a bit. On the ride home, it didn't help too much. It's going down 67, going down right around Festus and Crystal City where I grew up. That's the one main thing I want to talk about right now. Is kind of a big thing that's going on in my life. Last up, most of you know, everyone who knows, most people know me probably, or at least who follow me on Facebook, know that last October I came out as transgender. So basically, for me, what that means is I do not feel any connection with being a guy. I don't really care to be seen as a guy. I don't like people addressing me as a guy. And it's just something that just doesn't feel right. And that feeling's been there for most of my life, even though I didn't really recognize it as such until 2 or 3 years ago. And I think that kind of caused the communication issues I have and issues with interacting with people and forming connections to people in real life. So I guess early memories of all this, back then I didn't really have the language to contextualize all of it. But like probably before I was 8 or 9 or so, I know more than a few times I was just laying in bed at night, trying to go to sleep and kind of wishing I would wake up a girl. Just because being a boy just didn't feel right. And also around those same times I've had more than a few dreams where I would have woken up as a girl, and I kind of freaked out because I didn't know how it happened, and I had to convince my family that it was me. But below the surface, I felt happy and excited because it just felt right. Probably when I was around 8 or 9 or so. I was probably 7 or 8, maybe 6 or 7. I don't remember. But I don't remember where I found it. I got a hold of a black wig. And I was wearing that around the house, pretending I had long hair. And my brother and his friend were right outside the front door. And as I walked past on the inside, I heard his friend ask, "Is that your sister?" And I heard that. And I couldn't really understand why that caused the reaction I felt. But I felt that same happiness and excitement as I had in those dreams. I think it was sometime after that I actually I was able to let my hair grow out, and I had long hair for a little bit when I was a kid, or relatively long. And like I said, back then I didn't really recognize how deeply rooted those feelings were, and I was able to kind of brush it off as trying to just. I was able to convince myself those normal feelings that every boy had, and I just kind of buried and ignored those feelings for a long time. And what I realized recently is, I think during and after puberty, I started to have at least some kind of mild depression. I felt like I wasn't me. I felt like I was turning into someone that was just going further and further from who I am. I'm not sure if I would say I felt like I was going in the wrong direction. Well, no, not wrong, but I'm not sure if I felt I was going in the opposite direction of what I felt like I should have been going. But I felt like it was in the wrong direction. I hope this audio isn't crappy like it was before. I don't know if it's this windscreen or my helmet or both, but I'm just getting a constant rumble and vibration in my helmet from all the wind noise. It's something that I have to figure out, because I want to start doing more of these videos just as some free therapy and an excuse to go riding. One time I was in preschool, or around preschool age, and I would paint my nails with my mom, paint my fingernails with my mom, and I loved doing it. I loved having painted nails, but at some level I knew it wasn't quote unquote socially acceptable, especially at that time in the early 90s, because when my mom was driving me to preschool one morning, I looked down and realized I still had painted nails from the night before, and I freaked out because I knew the other kids would make fun of me for it. And my mom, we were sitting outside the preschool in the car. My mom scraped my nails off, scraped the polish off my nails with a key or something. But so I know it was pretty early that I had gender non-conforming feelings, and I knew that society didn't really look well upon that. And even back then, I felt the need to suppress my feelings and what I like to do to avoid any unwanted attention. And that got a lot worse after middle school, because I got bullied a lot in middle school, a lot for random stuff that I did. The other kids just, I don't know, they just felt the need to point out every tiny little thing I did, or point it out in a particular way I did something, and mock me for it. And that really messed me up socially, for socialization later on, and even till today. There's the old flea market. I used to go there all the time when I was a kid. It was an old drive-in. So some of the things I figured out, and I really blew off the dust of my memories and figured out in therapy of those memories, and put those into the context of my gender and how I feel about my gender. So it's not like I just started having feelings about or different thoughts about my gender later in life. I had it early on as a kid. And I was able to just repress it until my mid-30s, which I think that by itself caused some issues, some mental health issues. Because I just didn't feel like I was living a life that I wanted to. And that led to me just not really caring about life. If I couldn't be who I felt like I was in real life, then what's the point of even trying? So I did really crappy in school. I didn't care about doing homework. And even into my 20s, I didn't care. I didn't feel a need to care about my credit or stuff like that. And now I've got that mess to work with. But the thing that made me really start thinking about my relationship with my gender was maybe 2 or so years ago, 2.5 years ago maybe. There's a panel on the radio talking about, or they were talking about something, and the topic of their mental image of themselves came up. And they're talking about how their mental image of themselves either was like or was not like their actual appearance and outward personality presentation. And I realized my inner view of myself and even my inner personality is a lot more feminine. And like another thing that was kind of a light bulb moment when thinking about this stuff was when I realized, like in TV, movies, books, I never felt like I could put myself in the place of a male character. Pretty much every character I ever really related to and felt connected to and felt like I was them was female characters. And that was kind of a big light bulb moment for me. I'm trying to think of what I should talk about next. I think it was I posted about that in a Facebook group I'm in, asking if other people felt like that, and a lot of other people felt like that, and a lot of those people said they were transgender. And it might have been a biased sampling because it was an autism group, and there's a positive correlation between people who are on the autism spectrum are also gender nonconforming. So that might have been a slightly skewed sample. But it definitely got me really thinking about this and thinking there might be something to it. And maybe a couple or so months later, I told my best friend that actually knows. I think she posted something on Facebook Something about, like, tell me something about yourself that would surprise me. And I commented and that on that post in her, well, I didn't like comment on the post. I brought it up in Messenger with her, and I sent her a picture of that post I made in that autism group. And right before I sent that, I was like, I don't think there's anything I could tell you that would surprise you about me, because she knows me the best out of anyone, I would say, just because we talk so much online. And I pretty much tell her literally everything. There's nothing I feel like I can't tell her. So she pretty much knows me better than anyone. And she's like, I sent her a picture of that post I made, and it's like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And then maybe a few weeks later or so, I said, I'm thinking I might be non-binary. And she was like, okay. So I've been talking to her about this, a lot about this stuff, and she's helping me figure stuff out. And then I joined a few transgender groups on Facebook just to see if anyone else could relate to my experiences. And yeah, a lot of people did. So I started saying, yeah, I'm probably non-binary, I'm probably trans, which kind of admitting to myself that I was non-binary seemed a lot less of a big deal than saying I'm trans, but technically, if I don't identify with a gender as assigned at birth, I am trans. So it took me a while to get used to that. Here's Main Street. So, yeah, I started getting comfortable with identifying as trans and non-binary. It was kind of funny at first. I was like, I don't really feel the need to change my name or change what pronouns I go by. There's Pogolinos. Me and my dad used to go to that pizza place every week. It was my oldest brother's first job there. But yeah, for a while, I felt like it wasn't a big deal. And it's like, okay, that's a new thing about me. And then I started really thinking about it and figuring out solidifying my feelings about it and clarifying them. Yeah, I started feeling like, hey, there's a lot more here than I first thought. So I started telling my close friends. I think the next people I told were, I think, my housemates. It was either that or my other two really close friends that we have a group chat. And that went really well. I haven't had any overtly negative reactions, which I'm really thankful for. I started telling friends, and then, let's see, when was it? Then I started telling family because I wanted to have my immediate family and all my close friends know before I made it public. So I told everyone, and I didn't get any bad reactions. There's just one thing that it kind of threw me off, and it wasn't a great feeling, but a couple of people said, let's see how we go. Right after I tell them that I don't feel like a guy, I don't really care to be addressed as such, and I want to go by Alex from now on. Right after that, two people said, "You will always be my gendered relative old name." And that's not a great thing to say to someone who just came out to you as trans. Because in one sentiment, you just, I can't think of the word. Damn it, I knew the word a second ago and I can't think of it. In one statement, you just disregarded everything they told you, which took a long time for them to build up the nerve to tell you about something very personal about how they see themselves, how they want to be seen. And you just toss that aside. It's not a great feeling. I know it'll take time to get used to using a new name. And it's not like I'm going to bite someone's head off for getting it wrong after day one. And I still felt weird correcting people. And most of the time I would just let it pass because I know it'll take time to get used to. I mean, when you text someone or write a text to someone and you still use their old name, I can't help but feel like it's at least in some way intentional. And I had that Christmas morning, and that kind of ruined my morning. There's my grandma and grandpa's old house. What else? Yeah, I tend to avoid conflict like the plague. I didn't want to confront people about it because that ruined my Christmas morning, but I still didn't want to confront them about it. And I just didn't reply. And I know I still need to reply just to talk to people because I want to get better at having better relationship with family, or closer relationship with family, and having more open conversations. But it's just an explanation as to why I haven't really opened up to people about it. It's just I open up to tell you something real that's really personal and life-changing for me, and someone completely disregards that, just brushes it aside and says something that completely negates what I just said. Let's see what else. Kind of made a big loop around here. I didn't mean to go this one way. There's a couple other places I wanted to drive by. One of the kind of the hard things about this is I don't have a list of topics I want to talk about. I can look down at. I'm still working on getting comfortable with strengthening family ties and strengthening family bonds, which I want to do. I want to have a better relationship with people, with family, and closer relationship. But it's just something I'm still working on. I need to reach out to those people. And part of it is I didn't really get much feedback as to how they felt about it. And with all the messages I sent to family, I said, if you have any questions, please ask. And I may not have a great answer because I'm still figuring this out, but I'd rather people ask. And getting no feedback or questions is almost worse than getting a negative reaction. I know I recognize the irony in saying that I'm not great at reaching out to people and starting conversations. This is the third time I've made a video like this. The first two times the audio was just horrible, so I didn't do anything with them. Hopefully it's better on this one, and even if it's not, I may post it up on Facebook just to get my thoughts out there. So yes, the TLDR version is I don't feel like a guy. I don't feel any connection, or really want to feel any connection with the stereotypical archetype of being a guy. And I feel a lot more comfortable with having an appearance that's more feminine, like clothes, hair, and even my body. I've been talking to a therapist about that a lot over the past couple of months. And been talking a lot about starting physical transition. As I've kind of started social transition, I've come out. I'm going by a new name, pretty much publicly and online. Changed most of my accounts, almost all the online accounts that I can without a legal name change. I've done that. I started changing my appearance a bit. And I feel like the next step for me is work on the name change, the legal name change. And I already kind of took a couple of steps in physical and medical transition. I started getting laser hair removal for my face and neck, so I don't have to shave once or twice a day. And my second session is coming up in 2 weeks. Yeah, just under 2 weeks. And last month I made an appointment with an endocrinologist to discuss starting hormones, because I'm pretty much as sure as I can be that starting physical transition, including hormones, is something I feel like I need to do just to be more myself. Having a feminine body just feels more right than having a body that's unmistakably male. And it's kind of really, this feeling kind of grew as I was figuring myself out. I started disliking more and more that I look obviously male. And that's also something about that is my voice. It just feels like it's becoming a bigger and bigger thing that's on my mind. There's no guarantee of what hormones will do for me physically. There's no way to guess as to how my transition is going to progress physically. But as it does, if I do start having a more feminine, much more feminine body, my voice is going to start being a concern for me, because it's unmistakably male, which you can do voice training, which actually can help quite a lot, but it's a lot of practice, and it just takes a lot of mental energy to do it and get good at it and have it become natural. I'm sure you've seen some of my pictures I've shared recently on Facebook. I've been wearing a wig most of the time outside of work. I've started doing that past few weeks or so, and I haven't yet talked to my manager about doing that at work yet. I'm not sure how that's going to go. Because there's something about wearing the wig that it feels kind of like a costume still, even though I really like how I look with long hair again. I had long hair about a decade ago. I really miss it. There's my elementary school. I think I went there up until 4th grade. Sure, it's still right. Yep. Yeah, I used to live around here when I was around 7 or 8. My brothers went to high school right up here. I remember my oldest brother's graduation. And so when I think about my transition, what I would prefer would to be have a androgynous physical appearance, but my presentation, my hair and my clothes would probably more often be towards the feminine side, but I would wear boy clothes or girl clothes. And something I realized recently, that I don't at all mind wearing stereotypical boy clothes when my body looks more feminine. Reminds me of a meme that I saw on Reddit. It's just text, and it said, it's a totally normal cis male thing to want to be a tomboy, right? And I like that meme because I kind of related to it. And if I did have an androgynous to leaning towards a feminine body, I wouldn't mind wearing male clothes or anything like that. It just, my body wouldn't be as much of an issue to me. One of the things I thought about a lot and kind of made me question if I am non-binary was that I kind of wish that I was born female or born a girl, and then I would be kind of a tomboy. I would have more stereotypical guy, stereotypically male hobbies and interests. There's my old house. Darby Lane. That's it. Used to live there. But yeah, I feel like I would be much happier if people read me as someone who couldn't pin down if I was a boy or a girl, but they would, if they had to make an assumption, they would think I was a girl. That would be, if I could wave a magic wand from my appearance and voice, that's what it would be. And one of my oldest friends, or someone I met in high school, still one of my best friends, he asked me, how do I know I'm non-binary, not a trans girl? And I was like, I'm not sure. I'm still working that out. Which I am still working out. Because at first I was working under the assumption that I'm non-binary, because I definitely don't feel like a guy and I don't fully feel like a girl. But then I started thinking about it, and I was keep wondering myself if I definitely don't want to feel like a guy, or if I definitely don't feel like a guy and don't want to present as a guy, don't want to be seen as a guy, then would that mean I'm not non-binary but a trans woman? And I'm not sure. I don't think there's the definitions of these labels aren't that can't think of how to say it. They aren't set in stone like that. So I would definitely be much happier if I was read as a woman. Because even though, despite how I present and interact with people, like personality-wise, inside I feel a lot different personality-wise. And I think a lot of that discrepancy is social anxiety. For some reason, I feel really anxious letting people see my full self, my full inner self. And I think part of that is my experiences in middle school from the bullying. I felt like I had to hide my personality to hide from the bullies. And I'm still working on fixing that. But some of the things I've been doing in social transition, I was kind of preparing myself for the idea of starting hormones. So I started wearing breast forms with a bra, so I'd actually have outwardly it would appear I have a chest and breasts. And I started doing that maybe nearly 3 months ago, and literally there's only been a handful of times I haven't been that way. And at this point it feels totally normal and right. And even I think there was one time I had a shirt, I think it was right after I took a shower, I had a shirt on with nothing on my chest, and I saw myself in the mirror and it's like, that is really weird looking. That does not feel right to have a flat chest. So that kind of made me more confident that I'm doing the right thing and starting pursuing HRT. And I don't think it's something I could know, but I don't think it's something I will regret. Another thing that HRT will do is mental changes and change how your brain works. I've heard of a lot of trans women talk about starting HRT, and if they say it feels like it just opened up their emotions, like they had a much wider range of emotions, which I'm really looking forward to, because I'm not sure if it's just half a lifetime of depression, but my emotional range feels really flat. I recently, since starting to recontextualize how I see myself and how I feel I am, it's kind of broadened it a bit. But there's times where I feel like I should be and want to be like a sobbing pile of snot on the floor, crying over something like a video that I see on YouTube, or a music video, but I just feel like I can't. It feels like I have a physical and emotional need to do that, but I just feel like I can't. And it's one of the things that kind of made me feel like it's made me start to view the situation as testosterone as something that's just poisoning my brain. I've heard it described that for people whose brains are wired to work on estrogen, testosterone does really bad things, and vice versa. And I can start to see that. You're still recording. So that, and recontextualizing how I see myself and how I feel about myself, kind of makes it feel like I can't, there's no way I could go back to how I was for most of my life. There's no way I could just ignore this and not pursue transition. Like, I open this box, there's no closing it again. There's no way I could go back to that. Since I started figuring all this stuff out and started not thinking of myself as a guy, I feel so much better about myself. And that was one of the main things that made me realize this is an actual thing and not just something I'm confused about or something I'm making up, just something to do on a whim. Is that I actually care about my future now. I used to live there too, right on the end. I actually feel a connection to my future, something I couldn't feel before. I feel like I care about future me now, which I never felt like I could before. just because I don't feel like this life is me. I don't feel like me in this life, so why bother trying? Why bother caring about it? And that changed when I started figuring myself out and figuring all this out. And that kind of made me start to feel like I wasted my whole life being someone I'm not. And it's really depressing to think that, because I'm 37 years old. I feel like I've wasted so much of those years that I'm not going to get back. I used to hang out here all the time. I remember I'd climb up into those little Ys and just sit up there. One of the things I did, I think is kind of a transgender rite of passage, is downloading Face app and doing the gender swap filter on selfies. I've got so many pictures of me with the gender swap filter, and just so many times obsessing, wondering if that's even possible, because I look at it and there's not even much it actually changed. It kind of gave me hope in my physical transition that I could have a result that I really like, and I start to feel like myself. One of the things I did with that I wasn't expecting it to hurt so much, but I ran some pictures of me as a kid through that filter, and that really hurts, because it brought up feelings of all the years I feel like I missed. And Face app is something that you can both love it and hate it. It could be really helpful and really harmful mentally. I don't know how much battery I have left, but I've got a couple more places to ride by around here, and then I'll head home. One of the things I'm really worried about is when I see the endocrinologist, I'm really worried that there's going to be something in the blood work that they find that's going to be an issue, that's going to prevent me from starting hormones, and it's going to be something serious that I have to take care of, because I haven't done regular checkups. I haven't been to a doctor regularly because, like I said before all this, I didn't really care about myself, or I didn't feel a need to. And there are some health issues I'm going to have to take care of that I've been neglecting for years. don't know how much battery's left of this. So far, I think this was a good idea to do a video like this. Just to get the stuff off my chest and get better at verbalizing it and talking about it. And I'm hoping to be able to get better at having conversations like this in person. One of the recent things that happened that I'm really happy about was I went to my mom's house for dinner I think 2 weekends ago. And it was the first time I went there, like with my wig on, with my hair how I want it. And I don't know if she recognized it or just didn't comment on it, but I had my breast forms and bra on, so I had a chest, which it just feels more right to me than not having any of that. And that was really the first time since I was a kid I've been able to feel at ease and open up to someone, just having conversations like that. And one of the first things she said after she saw me when I walked in is like, "So were you nervous?" Like, yeah. I haven't had a conversation like that in so long. I haven't felt about having a conversation like that. That's probably not really how to word it. It's been so long since I've had that experience of having a conversation and feeling completely at ease and with very little anxiety over the conversation. I haven't felt like that since I was a kid. And just experiencing that feeling again and knowing I could have that feeling meant a lot. And it's an old jet. I used to climb all over that thing when I was a kid. But yeah, just knowing I could have an interaction like that still meant a lot. One of the things my mom said when I was talking about starting hormones and just saying having a feminine body, feminine feature just feels more right. She said you just have to do what you have to do. Do what's best for you, no matter whatever anyone else says. And hearing her say that meant a lot. There's one of the places I used to live. That's the place we lived where I found the wig and I was wearing it around. And my brother's friend said, "That your sister?" That happened right there. That was probably one of the first realizations for me that there might be something there, even though I didn't recognize it or I didn't think about it much at the time. It's pretty much everywhere I lived around here. That's where I grew up. Oh yeah, one story that also meant a lot. I asked Tim if it was okay if I told the story earlier. He said, yeah, sure. A few weeks ago, he messaged me, tell me about this dream he had about us. And he got famous for being in a movie, and it was a movie I really liked. So he talked me into going to the premiere, like a red carpet thing, as his date. And he said it took him some convincing for me to go with him. And he pretty much said, if anyone asks, I'll be saying, this is my best friend since high school, and they really like this movie, and anyone that has an issue with me bringing them as my date, they can kiss my ass. Then right after that, he said, you were also wearing a really cute dress. Which that little detail was kind of the thing that made it hit me so much. Because I was really happy to know that he saw me. He kind of saw me as how I'd want to be seen, how I see myself, as someone who's not stereotypically male. And that meant a lot. Yeah, that short bit of text messages really made me happy. So that's pretty much all I can think of at the moment. Hopefully, fingers crossed, all other appendages crossed, I'm going to start hormones in it sometime late April. And I'm not sure exactly what the future is going to hold, but it's something I need to do. I'm not going to be able to be comfortable with myself if I don't do this, and I don't start living my life as me. I'm just hoping everyone understands that this is a real thing. It's not a fad or something. It's not. I'm so sick of the conservatives' view of trans people, especially recently with all the laws that they're trying to put through. It's just so frustrating. I just have to say, if you don't agree with my views, my decisions, that's fine. You can have those views. Just know that those views are going to change the relationship. And I'm not going to want to interact with people who refuse to see me as how I want to be seen. That's all I can think of at the moment. Hopefully this video turns out